What's cooking YouTube? It's Parker from Boosted Automotive, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to buy a first car. If you're a teenager that's a car guy, maybe your parents' old Nissan Altima just doesn't appeal to you. It might give you a couple $1,000s, or you might have to work for it. Whatever the case, there are dozens of dope cars you can get in any price range, and I'll be showing you how to do so. This tutorial will be utilizing Facebook Marketplace and your ability to be patient and find the right deal. Let's get into this, shall we? First thing you're going to want to do is figure out your budget. I'll give examples in the $3,000, $5,000, and the $10,000 range. I had a budget of around $5,000 for my car, so I have plenty of experience in this field. Once you have your budget all figured out, you also want to make sure that you're on the same page as your parents. A lot of the time, parents don't think Marketplace is a good idea, but this video will give you the tools you need to convince them otherwise. Alright, that's all the housekeeping stuff out of the way. Now we have to actually look for cars. In a car off Facebook Marketplace, there are a few boxes that you'll want to check off, all of which I'll go into detail on. These things you want to check off are 1, research, 2, a non-modified car, 3, not a lot of owners, 4, good mileage, and 5, a good price. Let's start off number 1, research. The very first thing you want to do when you're looking for your first car is research. After you've picked out which car you want that is able to be found in your price range, you need to heavily research it. Research lays the base for all the other parameters you need to fill, and you need to figure out what a good price is, how reliable the car is, how much maintenance the car requires, how much gas will be, if it's fast, assuming that is what you want, and a few other minor things. Most of these will be discussed later on, so I won't dive into too much detail on everything. However, I do want to talk about maintenance, gas, and insurance. If you've got money to spend or your parents are willing to pay for some of this stuff, then you don't need to worry about this, but most teenagers are not this lucky. My car takes premium gas, which is extremely expensive right now, around $70 for a full tank. So if you don't have money for gas, step away from something that takes premium gasoline. Same thing with insurance. If you buy a super sporty car, your insurance rates will be really high due to the fact that you're a teenager. Then we also have maintenance. Some cars don't require much more than general maintenance, and then you have some that are known to have things that tend to break a lot. For example, I would not buy an RX-7 or an RX-8 as your first car. That is not something that you want to be dailying, especially one that you can get for a good price, because you're probably going to be getting one that has a lot of miles on it and it's going to explode while you're driving it. So I'd stay away from that. Basically, what I'm saying is if you don't have money to spend on some of the luxuries of a cool car, then you might want to find a different one. Number 2 on the list is to find a car that is non-modified. I cannot stress this enough. As a person who's just getting into cars, or as a person in general, buying someone's project car as a daily is one of the worst things that you can do. It's probably going to break or is already broken. It already has things done to it, a lot of which they might not tell you, and you don't know the car. You modify your own car when it's stock, you're going to know everything that's ever been done to it, and you'll know it like the back of your hand, which cannot be said for someone else's modded car. Short and simple, do not buy a modded car. The third thing you want to check off is that the car has not had a lot of owners. Most owners I'd say you want to see in a car is 3. Anything over that, it gets into some pretty risky waters. The reason for this is that when there's a low number of owners, it usually shows the car hasn't been sold for a reason, like a recurring problem. So, and you would not want to buy a car with 5 owners, just like you would not want a girlfriend that has dated 5 guys. It depends on how old you are, but generally if you're in high school and she's dated like 5 guys, you probably wouldn't want that. Best possible case is that you find a car that is original owner and an old person. Original owner means that the seller can tell you everything that has ever happened to the car and you can find out the reason they're selling it. And if it's an old person, that means the car has most likely been babied and well taken care of. Number 4 is that you want to find a vehicle with good mileage. The idea of mileage is very relative to what car you're getting. Some cars are terrible after 80,000 miles and some can last over 200K with basic maintenance. So if you're buying a German car, you probably want to make sure that it has been well maintained, is under 140,000 miles. Now, if you're buying something like a Civic, miles can be extremely high. Just make sure that it's been well maintained. Mileage of the car pretty much depends on how much research you do on it, so make sure you research well. The final thing to check off is a good price. Make sure you know what a car and the condition it's in with the miles it has is worth. Don't try and buy a car with a guy that refuses to negotiate a bad price. And the good news is most people on Marketplace are extremely open to negotiation. An easy way to find out a good price is to look for the reasons why the person is selling the car. Definitely don't buy a car with no title. That means that the car is probably stolen, and just stay away from no title. And my car was a person that needed to sell the car soon, so I got a really good price. Use words like need gone in your search, and that will help you a lot. I'll go more into price once I start to show more examples. Let's say you've been patient. For example, I had to check Marketplace for an hour a day for like 2 months until I found the right car. And then you meet with the seller and the car seems to be in good shape and everything that you're looking for. Once you settle on a price, there's one last thing that you need to do, and this is take it to the mechanic. Ask for a general check of the car to make sure it's in good condition, and if he gives you the all good, then congrats, you are the new owner of your brand new first car. Alright, so I've got my 3 picks for the 3 price ranges, which are $3,000, $5,000, and $10,000. Alright, so we're going to start off with the $3,000 price range, and right here we've got a Honda Accord EX sedan 4-door 2000. Alright, so this car is $3,000, and it's just a stock Honda Accord, which there's plenty of things you can do with, but like you got to know your limitations. You've only got $3,000 for a car, and especially in today's market, that's not a lot. not a lot. So, but this is a really good car, and your parents will be happy with it. And then you can just like slam it and add an intake or whatever you want to do. So it'll be a fun car. All right. So what you're gonna want to do is look at these miles. 84,151 miles. That is extremely good mileage. All right. They've got 2 owners, which is extremely good. 21 miles per gallon. That's pretty good. And it's got a clean title. So yeah, that is a very good thing. So let's look at this description, which is a 2000 Honda Accord 4-door 4-cylinder automatic. All right. So it's got new brakes, tires, tune-up parts, and CV shafts, and it starts and drives well, but it leaks transmission fluid from the CV shafts. So this is not an insanely huge problem. You can probably get that fixed for a decent amount. And then the windshield is also cracked, but windshield is decently expensive, but none of those are like groundbreaking things to the car. You just want to make sure you want to get that transmission leak. So it's leather, and it's got all the good options for a Accord. So you can slam this puppy. You can put some big old wheels on it, make it look real nice. So let's take a tour through those pictures. All right, so we've got some minor damage on the car. It's got a clean interior for the most part, besides that right there. But this person seems to be very open about the car. You just have to go and talk with them, and you could probably talk this down to 2,500, maybe 2,000 if you're lucky. So this is a really good car right here for only $3 grand. So $3 grand price range, really good car. Look for something like this. Just do your research. So next, we've got our car, which is going to be in the $5 grand price range, which is a 1984 Corvette Coupe 2-door. All right, so let's take a look at these pictures first. This is a beautiful, sexy car. You will get all the females if you drive this thing, and everyone will think you're cool. So what we've got here is a Corvette with only 59,000 miles, which is not very high whatsoever, and it's in good condition. 1984, 58,000 original miles, and it is the convertible version. All right, so it's got 58,000 original miles. Go up as he dailies it. So this guy's dailying this car. It's got an LED3 V8 5.7 liter motor, and it's strong motor, and its transmission shifts smoothly. Now it is an automatic, but like it's not that big of a deal, you know. So what else does this car have? Well, it's straight piped with heathers. That is the only mod that's been done to this thing, but it's still gonna be a very good car just because it's straight piped. I mean, as long as you're okay with it being a little loud, you know what I'm saying. It's got new tires. It has the Target top. I don't know if it's Target. It doesn't match the color. Okay, and the paint is bad, and the brakes are squeaky, which are the only negatives of this, but the paint is not that big of a deal. You just have to go and check it out, but like paint is, it's expensive, but if it's just a touch up, you can fix it yourself. And then the brakes are squeaky. You can replace brakes for not that much. So this guy is open to trades, and is 5K or best offer, and he wants a more practical vehicle. So a practical vehicle is something that is extremely important, or not a practical vehicle. Someone looking like this, they need a new car, so they're going to be willing to sell it for a good price. So 5K or best offer. Shoot this guy with like 4K and see what he says, you know. Probably talk this down, and this is a very good car for the price, so I approve this thing for $5 grand budget. All right, now we have our 10 grand budget, and we're going to be under 10 grand by a pretty good amount, which is a 240 SX. Now if JDM's not your thing, there's plenty of things like American muscle cars under 10 grand. JDM cars, this is a JDM car under 10 grand. Maybe you want a truck. Trucks are awesome. You can get a very cool truck for 10 grand. And then also like a muscle car or something like the Corvette. But so this is a really good example of a car that you'd be looking for in marketplace. Now 7 grand is a lot, but for a 240 SX, but nowadays it's, what do you expect? It's a 240 SX. So this thing is a 1989 2-owner 102,000 mile clean title, and it is bone stock. That should be a big green flag. Bone stock, and all OEM parts are still there. That's a very blue flag, or green flag, what am I saying? And it's got a lot of this stuff is all just good, and it has the manual transmissions. So I think this guy bought one and never ended up swapping it, so we'll see. That's all like up to the buyer, you know, see what he wants done with it. So this guy gives pictures of all the rusts. That's not that much rust at all. And it is a fairly low mileage, like I said, 102,000 miles, and it was a grand mal car. A very large green flag, like we said, unless this guy's lying, but this is an insane car right here. Perfect for someone to build a drift car from the ground up. So this car is insane. This is a very, I mean, 7 grand is way more than you should be paying for this, but nowadays it's what you're gonna have to pay if you want a nice JDM car. So yeah, this thing is what you want. This is what you want from marketplace. All right. So there are my 3 examples. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a great day.